A beautiful day, 68 degrees in Southern California, and today I'm going to work in the garden. So I'm just going to let you candidly watch me as I plant some stuff that should have been planted a long time ago. And I will explain which is going where and why it's going there and what am I doing and where I got this big raised bed, I guess you could call it. It's not. I'm probably going to explain more when I'm all done with that. This is something Gary found in the trash years ago, growing all kinds of stuff in it. He flipped it on its side and I've been growing in it, but I don't think I planted in it last year. I think I used it as a dump. In other words, branches, leaves, whatever I thought that I didn't know where to put, like flower pots and stuff that should have been in the trash. Anyways, what I did there was I planted in the center 4 fig leaf gourds. And you can see I poked some holes there, so when I water it, it will go directly to the roots. Now I'm just going to mulch it with some wood chips, leaves, whatever I found, and threw in a bucket. The next thing I'm going to plant in the other pot is going to be what they call travelers or Voyagers. Those tomatoes that I grew a long time ago, you saw them early on in the year and the seeds were coming up, and then I had cuttings I did. Well, the seeds grew really good, and what I did right now is I'm taking off the bottom a lot of the suckers, and I don't care if they grow or not. I have so many of them, and I'm going to plant it in that pot. Now, these pots have large holes on the bottom, so as these plants grow, they can reach into this container with all that matter in there, and they'll be feeding off of that. And this way, I know they're going to get water because they've got their own pots, and it will go directly to the roots. As you see, I don't overly bury my tomato plants. A lot of people do, and they say it's better, whatever. Everybody does it their own way. I find this works fine. I am removing most of the suckers on the bottom, and again, I'm putting them in a flower pot. I'm going to sit it in some water for a day or two until they start to set root, and then I'll figure out if I want the suckers because I've got more plants to plant. That's basically it. I'm just mulching it here around the plants. It's not too hot. At 67 degrees, we're not that warm. I'll probably give it some shade in various ways if it needs it, and we'll see what happens. Now, normally I wouldn't just have you sit and watch me plant, but a lot of you said you get things out of it. Like, did I ever say I make divots when I plant my plants and then cover it with mulch? Probably not. You always say, put it up. We just want to see you work. Well, that's what I do. Now I found a flower pot, just a plain old flower pot that I bought a plant from one of the stores, Home Depot or Lowe's. And I've already planted it somewhere else, but that flower pot's got 4 great holes in it. So it's going to work really good for me. And now this flower I'm planting in there is just a cutting. It's a geranium. And yes, this is how easy it is to propagate geraniums. Go outside, find a geranium plant that's growing here, break off a piece, take the bottom leaves off and shove it in a pot with some soil and keep it damp. That's all there is to it. No thought to it, no babying it, nothing. Now, the reason I'm doing that with the squash is those squash plants are not in the greatest shape because I waited that long, but by watering the top plant, those 4 holes are going to go straight down and keep the roots damp of the fig leaf gourds that are in there. And again, I only want 1, but we'll see what happens, and that is layering. The tomatoes I'm not going to layer right now. We'll see how that goes. If they look like they're not getting enough water or they're struggling, then I'll think about maybe layering those later. That's it. I think it looks really good, and it really didn't take much time at all. So now I'll take over in the garden and you can hear what I have to say. So here's what I've done. I planted one of them in there. I left some of these bottom shoots. I'll decide later if I want to take these suckers off or not. I'm going to tie it to this rebar that's been here for a couple years already. These, I forgot. I looked at them. I thought, what in the world? Marigolds. I've got these on the deck and the seeds are flying everywhere and they got inside the pot. I'm going to leave them. I don't think it'll cause any damage. Put some matter from the ground. I got some wood chips and leaves and stuff as a mulch for the bottom. Same thing here. I took the bottom off. I didn't drop it that much. I know a lot of you drop it way down. I'm going to be honest. I don't bother. Now, these have been sitting, so they're kind of abused. So we'll see what happens because they've just been sitting. And I'm just tossing that in there. And we'll see if they make it. I have a whole bunch of them. I took the suckers off and I put it in a flower pot. Now, I am going to take care of it, but I'll be honest with you. I've got so many more to plant because of the seeds that I grew that it's not important if they make it or not. Now, let me explain to you what this is, and I'll put this back. Notice there's a drain hole there and a drain hole there. And then there's another drain hole and another drain hole. So these are shark fin melons. I really didn't want to grow them, but I had a shark fin melon plant. I shouldn't say a plant, a fruit that was really tiny. When I opened it up, there were about, I don't remember, 15 seeds inside. So I planted a few of them and they grew. And I didn't expect them to because the seeds were so small on an immature plant. Now they've been sitting on my windowsill for way too long. You can see they're droopy, and I only want one to grow. Now this has got big holes on the bottom, so they'll set their roots in here, and this has got all kinds of matter from the garden in here later on as they get bigger. I'm hoping one will grow. I don't know what I'm going to do if all of them make it. I doubt they will. There's a teeny one here, and then there's this one, and they're really, really droopy. If they make it, they make it. Now what I'm doing with this flower pot, this one had my tea plant in here for the hummingbirds, a red plant flower. It was actually pink flowers. I'm turning the holes so when I water this geranium cutting, and it's literally cut from the front there, I just walked over there, broke a piece off, and brought it here. If it makes it, it makes it, and usually that's how they make it. I just shove it in a pot and it grows. When I water this, see how it's going to come through? I do this all the time. I even do it with jars and bottles. It will water each one of these plants, and that will give it a good start. As this plant gets bigger or that one gets bigger, I'll remove it. This is only for now. I could do the same thing here, put another pot here, but I'm going to leave it. Now I'm going to risk this and not put any tool. If something comes through here and chews everything up, then I will come back later and I'll tool this whole thing. Gary found this in the trash years ago. It looks like it was a cabinet. We laid it on its side. I have grown ubes in here. I have grown all kinds of squash in here. I didn't plant anything in it, I don't think, last year. I was going to. The year before I planted something. I don't remember what. Oh, I got to get that stake off there. It's kind of just sitting there. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to plant this here. I went through, I've been clearing all the pots out, been lining them up. The ones that have holes will go in one stack. I see holes there. The ones that don't have holes will go in another stack, so I'll know what to do with them when I'm ready. And that will be it. So we'll see if this thing grows. I just decided to throw everything in the kitchen sink. Whatever that's a joke. Whatever I had around here, I was cleaning up the plants on the bottom. And then I told Gary, if you want, throw some wood chips in here, or I was starting to throw some in here. So he went and I got a couple buckets, and I think he put a bucket or two in here. Now, underneath, there is matter under there. You can see there's stuff under there. I'm not going to move it all right now. And this will all decay down, the leaves and everything that's in there, and it will be wonderful, like I did the trough. And that's where I'm getting all the soil from. When I want to get soil, I just grab it out of the trough. And once that's empty, I can move that to the other side of the yard. That's been a gem. Look at the birds sitting there feeding in the container. I don't know if you can see them. They're all over here. You see the birds? Anyway, so that's what's going on today. I'm just thinking it'd be nice to get the tomatoes up. Oh, these are called the Voyagers. So that's the ones I planted from seed, and they're really nice. Look at the stalk on them. Now, technically, I could have buried it more, and I didn't see where the roots are. I could throw some more stuff there, but it's going to be fine. So we'll see what happens. That's it for today. I've been working on this for a few days, and I'm really happy with it. And I might put some more walking onions around. This walking onion, I just top dressed it because it's an old plant, but look at all the babies. So I might put that. No, I'm debating. I could take this pot and sit it in here. Layering is wonderful, but this, let me tell you, there's a problem with this. This is so big, and it's up against all these plants here, that rodents love to come through here, and they find shelter here, and they'll come in here. By not over layering this, and I don't want to tool it right now, just don't want to do the extra work, though I may have to. By not tooling it and not layering too many things in here, they have no shelter. So for, let's say, a rat, a mouse, whatever, squirrel to come here, they know it's too open to the sky, and so they may not bother with it. Even at night, there's nothing here for them. And that's what I'm hoping. They'll come through here like they do everywhere, and they'll think, well, there's nothing here. They don't like eating geraniums. They're not going to eat tomatoes. Will they eat the squash? I don't know. If they do, well, maybe I'll stick another tomato in there. But I figured I'd do this because I had it, and it's been abused, and it's been sitting too long, and it was sitting in a medicine bottle, one of those little tiny bottles, in a paper cup. Too many plants in one thing. Anyways, it's out. Whatever happens, happens. And if not, they get composted and something else will go in here. So we'll see what happens. This is really pretty. I absolutely love the idea that I can propagate geraniums all over here without removing too many leaves, just dropping a good portion of the stem under the soil And I even leave the flowers, which is a big no-no. They'll tell you, take it off. You know what? The plant seems happy with it, and it will even bloom the rest of the flowers, and they do really good. These things are the hardiest things I've ever grown, and they're kind of fuzzy. So they're not the shiny ones. These are a little bit fuzzy, but they're beautiful. Like I said, they're growing everywhere. And where are they coming from? From one tiny plant. Branches fall. If they get pushed underneath wood chips, they grow, or under the soil. And if not, oh well. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is just my morning. Well, now it's gone into afternoon work in the garden, and I'm slowly getting a lot of stuff done here. That's beautiful. With that, have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. Okay, one task done again. And I thought it was done. I gotta get these planted in here. Yeah, I'll do it pretty soon. Okay, so I planted my zinnias that I planted from seeds. There they are. Now they can grow nice and tall in the bird garden. I'll keep them in the shade just for a while until they start to look pretty good and take off. And maybe I'll take a break for 5 minutes in the bird garden and then get something else done.